Welcome on Family Talk Show. This is Family Talk Show that happens every Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and we are very delighted to have you this evening. And remember, it's hosted by Brenda Mahoro, and I send my greetings to everyone who is the #1 fan of Brenda Mahoro. I love you so much from wherever you're watching from. Those ones who are traveling back home, I send my regards to you. May you have a safe journey. Those ones that have celebrated their birthdays, I celebrate my sister Evelyn who works from Absa. I celebrate you so much, and may you live to blow more candles. And those ones who have celebrated their birthdays, of course, I also celebrate you. Those ones who are preparing for wedding, I send my regards to you, that God is in control. Yes, I send my regards to you. And of course, today we are having yet another episode of Family Talk Show, and we are having amazing couple and today we're going to be talking about talent. That is why you had that song of Talanta Yomwana Tojitulira by Baby Gloria. Yes, we are emphasizing every parent out there, please, when you spot a talent of your child, make sure that you discover it and make sure that you build it, that you nurture it until it sees a new day, or until you see fruits coming out of that talent. But of course, we are having a married couple, Miss Auma Beatrice, who is a social worker, and then we are having Mr. Wafula Steven, who is a graphic designer. Such a combination. Welcome with me, the family of Wafula, and we are very delighted to have you today on Family Talk Show.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Wow, please introduce yourself. Let's begin with the beautiful lady. Tell us what you do. They told me, I heard from Monkubo there, that you're a CEO.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you, Brenda, for hosting us and management of Family Talk Show. I'm a parent, I'm a social worker, and a public administrator.
Wow. Mr. Wafula.
Yes, as you heard, I'm Wafula Steven. I'm a graphic designer by profession, a politician, and I have passion for nature.
Whoa.
I'm very glad to be here.
I think every Wafula is a politician. We have our Wafula, that side of Muyenga Bukasa, is a council and is also a chairman. Are you also a chairman?
Actually, I've contested for MPship in Bugiri municipality, and I'm from the family of Wafula Ogutu.
Wow. I'm going to send my regards to Mr. Wafula, that side of Muyenga Bukasa. That we love you so much, and there is your your brother here.
Comrade.
Yeah, so how long have you been married? How many years?
15 years.
15 years?
Yes.
Wow. Tell us, how has been the journey?
Yeah, the journey has been okay because we are all believers. We trust in God, and everything is okay. Yes.
Interestingly, we got into the relationship after our senior six.
After senior six?
After the senior six exams. Yeah, we met at a cheyo. We'd gone to do some cheyo. You know that
in Uganda.
Vacation. Yeah, no, we had a cheyo at Monitor Publications. And when we met, the rest is history.
Wow, so today we're going to be talking about talent, discovering potentials among children, and I'm sure for these 15 years you've had children, and remember growing up, these children, they are in process. We have the toddlers, we have those ones who are in kindergarten. So, and the talking point today, we're going to be starting from the toddlers, which is how have you grown your children, or how do you build the potential or discover the potential of your child when they are still toddlers. Actually, before you talked about, I thought discovering the talent of your child, it begins from maybe kindergarten.
Actually, Brenda, to discover the talent of a child, you need to first build the talent of the child. How do we build the talent of the child? We build the child's talent as early as from the time of conception. When you conceive the child, as soon as the parent realize that they have conceived a child, they're supposed to start now developing that talent. How do we develop the talent? She's supposed to eat a balanced diet. She's supposed to go for antenatal care, and she's supposed to avoid like stress. Fathers shouldn't stress expectant mothers, because whatever happens to this mother affects the unborn child. So when the mother has been tortured and she's a kind of mother who has been stressed, she does not eat a balanced diet, she's likely to give birth to a child with low brain development. So talent development starts at the time of conception, when the child is still in the womb, is still a fetus, is not yet a child.
Yeah, Beatrice, take us through the process, your process. How have you done it?
Of course, according to World Health WHO standards, a mother is supposed to start antenatal care soon after missing the periods. You're supposed to go for checkup. And if they realize that you're pregnant, you start getting antenatal care services. You start getting iron tablets because you're sharing your body with another person. So that you're given iron tablets, you're tested for HIV to prevent like a mother infecting the other child. So they test for HIV, they test for syphilis, they screen for syphilis, and they advise you on nutrition. So a mother who has taken into antenatal care early enough, 100% gives birth to a healthy child. Yes, so when the child is born, now you start identifying the talent of this child. We continue with the child development. Now the child is born. You see, potential development is inborn and is given by God to every child. But this potential sometimes differs due to the environment that these children grow in. So if a child grows in an environment where parents are always fighting, remember these infants or toddlers are now learning from the environment around. Brenda, a child, and viewers, a child who is as old as only 2 days can learn how to smell. The sense of smell develops. They learn how to smell people around. They learn the touch of people around. They also learn the sound of people around. They even learn the size of the breast of their mother. So if another person comes around who is a stranger, this child will cry. That's why when a child has been born, when she's crying or is crying and the mother speaks, this child keeps quiet because they know this person, this sound, I know it. So the identification of a child's talent or potential starts from talent development. Wow. So after that, now you start identifying the child's potential. Like you're now reaping what you sowed.
Yeah. Actually, Brenda, thank you for that. What we parents should realize is that every child that is born in this world has different potentials. So we are supposed to help them develop them, in that in the society there is academics, we have kids who can excel academically.
Yeah.
Then we have those who can excel in these co-curricular activities, say like sports, like in football. I have an example that at school, because I went to Uganda Matters in Namugongo, we had a boy called Mayumba Fred. He was from, we used to call it a humble background, from Lowero. So he was not well academically, but actually he's in one of the top clubs in Europe. Wow. So
that was a talent.
That was a talent. So if he had been nurtured properly, of course, so that should be an example to the parents. Should not say that my kid has to be an engineer, you have to be an engineer. Yet, as you discover the potentials in the kids, that gives you an observation to do what? To know exactly how the kids are going to come out in the society.
I know of parents who, I remember when my brother used to come back when they have participated in football, and then my mother would be like, you're spoiling the shoes, I'm tired of buying you shoes. So some parents frustrate the potentials of their children. Yeah. What do you have to say about it?
It's not good, because that's what causes children to get depressed and begin using drugs and begin using drugs because they are not doing where their interest is. Because even you, Brenda, you have your interests. If someone took you to medical school to begin operating, that's not where your interest is. That's not where your interest lies. So we should let them be, let the children be, let them dirten themselves, let them spoil the shoes, let them request for guitars, let them play. That's when you can be able to discover their potential.
I think that only sometimes applies to the elite families. Those ones who can provide guitars, those ones maybe who can provide sand, those ones who can provide such things. But for a family, you talked about a humble background, for a family or for parents that do not have all these things, how can they discover, Beatrice, how can they discover the potential of this child? You're a social worker.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Every child, just like we said, is having this potential that is given by God. So it is us parents who help the children develop it. When the child is from a humble background,
they wake up, they go to the garden, dig, that is the only thing they do.
Yes, children go to dig, they do household chores, they use what is available to develop their potential. Just like a rich parent provide, let me say, the dolls and the shakers and bells and whatever, these children who come from humble background can also use dolls, they can use that kind of dolls and also develop, like the other child who is having a modern doll that sings like Twinkle Twinkle, keeps singing, but this one also gets to be nurtured on how to raise children using the other doll of the banana fibers. So whether it's a humble background or it's a modern background, we use the materials that are available. So as parents, we need to leave the children use the materials that are available so that the children's potential can be realized. So the others who can afford the other modern materials, provide for your children. But for a parent who cannot afford the modern materials, still let's provide everywhere the soil, everywhere the sand, everywhere the banana fibers, the banana plantation. They make bowls out of the banana fibers. In the village, they even make bowls out of viveras. Yes, plastic bags. And they grow like using those bowls. And those bowls can improve their skills up to international level. So it does not matter what is available. Mothers or fathers should avail children with what is affordable and what is available. Yes, to develop the talent of this child.
Actually, the parents should just provide the environment. I can use my example. We grew up in Bugolobi, then moved to Tinda. So we used to, she talked of the balls. We used to get pints from, I don't know whether it was called Dairy Corporation. Pints, we had that skill of blowing air in it, tying it well, and it would be actually more round than the
normal ball.
The normal ball. Then for the cars, we used to get these wires, those spoiled wires. And we make real good cars out of them, and would really differentiate between a Datsun, a Toyota, a bus, and a pickup. All that would be done. But nowadays, of course, things are simple. You have, there is that artificial sand. Provide that artificial sand. Still, there is sand. You put it, avail it to the kids. Let them dirten themselves as you monitor. Don't look at the dirtiness or how they are dirtying themselves. Of course, you look out for the hazards. That's how you can help kids discover themselves.
And then the nurturing. Remember, let's give an example of some parents who do not have even the economy. You're seeing the economy, and then you're seeing maybe your child is venturing into football, is making all these balls from paints, is making dolls from fibers. How do you nurture this talent of the child that you've really spotted, even when you do not have money, or even when you do not have the connections?
Of course, the kids, that's where the government comes in, the formal education. Because I thank, of course, the state for probably the national curriculum, for the national curriculum people who developed a new curriculum for us, for the currently senior twos, I think. It's now more.
You talked about there's some interesting thing that even parents sometimes they don't know how to read the report.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming to. You see that there is a new curriculum. Some parents have not taken interest into learning exactly what is involved into the what in that curriculum. Others don't even know to read the report. Yet it has that grading system that is cumulative, as in from senior one you go accumulating, just like it was at the university. Then it is more practical and less theoretical. So that is at least good.
I think education should come and tell us how to read that report, like Mr. Andrew Cheyuni should come up and tell us this is how they read the report. Or also the Ministry of Education and Sports should come up and tell us, maybe reading it in different languages, because not every parent has gone to school.
Probably as they were, like when we were in the lockdown, they should have, I think they included it in the soft, like we were able to download the particular different subjects. That should be also put inside, because by learning how to interpret that report is when a parent can be able to discover the potential of a kid. That, for example, if so and so is performing well in mathematics, then that is showing you exactly what that kid should be able to do. Probably you should be now introducing them to coding, to programming, to if they are good at physics. Now you begin, nurturing. That is now nurturing the kid to do what is supposed to be done, in order to do physics, in order to do coding. Are you aware that Bill Gates began coding at 13?
13 years.
Mark Zuckerberg began coding at 11.
Wow.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, began coding at 12 years. So,
at a tender age?
At a very tender age. Now, how many of our kids at that age are able to code? I remember Steve Jobs once said that every human being who is able should learn programming, because it teaches you how to think. So, I was challenged by that. So I think I'm also doing some coding.
You're also doing, because you're a graphic designer.
Exactly.
Probably.
Yeah, because graphics, of course, art is wide. Because as a graphic artist, I specialized in graphic designing. That is to do, basically, you do your sketching and transfer it to your computer into printing. So you need to learn programming. It's there through the grades. We have this new curriculum, like I talked about the curriculum. Through that curriculum, we, the parents, should take charge and responsibility to know exactly how it is rolling out, how to interpret that report. So, through that report, for example, if my son is good at mathematics, by then, because now for us we are above them, we're able to, we've delivered, we've seen, we've done all sorts of things. So we are able to use that grading, that no, he's good at math. What are the careers in math that they can be good at? For example, now if they are in math, then I'm seeing him trying to...
You begin noticing it from...
Exactly, from there. Probably the coding, then I know he's going to either do, if he's good at, he can do programming, coding, at that early age. Because the icons that we are aspiring to follow, the Mark Zuckerberg, they began coding or programming in their teens. Zuckerberg, Elon Musk at 11 years. Mark Zuckerberg, was it 8 or 9 years? Bill Gates at 12 years. So they discovered themselves. I think their parents were able to discover and lead them to to their destiny.
But Mr. Wafula, hey, that math of P1 and P2 and P3 is very easy. When you reach to Form 4, that is when you know that now you're doing real math.
Now, thanks to the new curriculum, it's not all theory. Now, there is a lot of practical in that new theory, practical. And so if you're very keen, you're able to identify the exact, distinct talent in that kid. It's not very hard. Now, otherwise, how would Bill Gates do coding at 12 years? So we need to follow those grades. We don't just have to look and say, I've paid my fees. You're supposed to get 80%. What happened? You're supposed to get 90%. Be in the lives of the children.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some issue of being intentional. You know, Beatrice, we've seen that social media, I think you've also seen it, you've also seen it, that social media clip or that social media clip of that woman or the lady who was beating up a child, that it has moved around. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Beating up a child. And mothers really spend a lot of time with their children. So you as a mother, how do you think that parents or mothers should be intentional in nurturing the potentials of their children?
Actually, when we relate to the video that has been circulating on social media, the parents are supposed to have a relationship with the child. Like we always have that bond when the child is breastfeeding. That bond should not end. It should continue up to when your child maybe dies or up to when the mother dies. So you need to maintain that bond to the child throughout the development of the child as the child is growing. Whether he's young or he's an adolescent, you need to establish a good relationship. That's how these children are going to be close to you. They will tell you what they are, what they are interested in. Let me see. I have a team of members. They are young. So one day, others are accountants, others are radio presenters, TV presenters. They started different courses. But one time I was like, okay, now I want you to write for me a course, and you write for me your area of interest, what you want to improve, to expertise in. But to my surprise, 90% of the team members, their interest was totally different from what they studied. So I think we as parents, we because we have failed to establish that bond and relationship, the continuous relationship with the children tend to do courses according to our wish. Because I want to have a doctor within my family, I don't bother to look into the potential of the child, what the child can manage, then I force the child to be a doctor. So the child will study medicine, she will be a doctor, but these are the doctors you find in the hospital who are doing things in a funny way, who are not following the profession. Or I force a child to be a teacher, yet the child wanted to be an accountant. So you find she's a teacher, he's a teacher, but he's a kind of teacher who is just beating up people's children. So we as parents, as we are raising these children, we need to maintain that bond right from the time the children are born up to the time we leave this world. So that's how the child is going to be close to you, is going to be able to tell you what they like. They are going to open to you, and you're able now to easily know what your child wants to do and what can be helpful, so that you provide for the child. So for that mother who beat the child, we are supposed to be nurtured. You're not supposed to beat children on the head or beat anyone on the head. These children are still growing. So by getting a shoe and slapping on the head of the child, you can cause a brain clot to the child, and it can cause you a lot of money to treat that child. So parents, yes, we are supposed to discipline children, but we are not supposed to discipline in an unruly way whereby you beat a child anyhow. Children are supposed to be given canes on buttocks, and then children below 5 years are supposed to be sensitize, like talk to the child, show the child this is wrong, this is right. It's not all about beating. We have children in our family. We have children. We have a child in baby class, our last born. Then we have children in secondary. So we have established a relationship with these children that there is a bond. They always open to us. They always tell us what they want. They always tell us their interests, and it has helped us to easily identify their talents, easily identify what they like, and we have provided and made sure we nurture it to develop. So we are not supposed to yell at children. You're not supposed to discipline a child when you're bitter. You have to first compose yourself and make sure all your wires are connected. So if you just come and the wires are broken,
when the wires are not
the wires are not really working, and start just caning a child, you might end up killing a child without knowing. So that is wrong. Children are supposed to be disciplined as we identify their talent, but we are supposed to talk to them. When a child makes a mistake, as a parent, first find out why did this mistake happen. Then after knowing why the mistake happened, now talk to the child and tell the child the right way to do it, as you monitor whether the child has adapted what you've said or not. Yes.
Just to add on that, we should show the children how to take charge and be responsible of their mistakes and success. Yeah. So in here I mean that let the children do the mistakes, let them learn through the mistakes, and actually give them the time to think out a solution to how to get out of that mistake. In so doing, you're really developing, you're nurturing a very good, responsible person in them. Then to add on that, we are supposed to let the kids or the children go to these trips, because by so doing, they discover themselves. They discover themselves in those trips, because it opens up their mind. They discover new environments, and in so doing, you're able to also develop their talent. Then also, you're able to, through that, you're able to see whether they are sociable. You know, even the toddlers, in their trips, you can be able to see that this one can make a good manager.
Yeah.
Because they are able to command within themselves. They are kids who can be able to they are kids who want to really show that they are top of things. They are able, teacher, this one has done this. Teacher, let me take these books. Teacher, this one is not feeling well. They are those kids. So if that was happening at home, the parents would be able to identify that this kid, I should be able to channel their development towards being a manager, being a salesperson, being what we call politicians, other than having politicians who are just self-centered and not really passionate about leading people. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so we were talking about the toddlers who are between 1 to 3, and we talked about building their potential and identifying the potential of the child. So now the child has reached to kindergarten. What is the process of now the child has come out, you've identified, you've groomed her, you've eaten that balanced diet, you've kept her well or him well. So what is the process of now the child has reached to kindergarten? Beatrice?
Of course, before they even make 3 years, you need to nurture them, like train them how to use the toilet, how to interact with the others. So as you take them to school, because now these children spend more time at school, you need, as a parent, to also go to school and find out from the teachers how your child behaves. You're not supposed to just give a deaf ear. Since the child is in school, school is going to do everything. You as a responsible parent, you also need to go and interact with the teachers and find out how the child behaves, to see whether what you build is being portrayed at school and the same time at home. So through interaction with the teachers, these teachers also tell you how the child behaves at school. So you're able to know whether you're nurturing the talent you want, or you need to improve in the way you are nurturing your child.
Some parents don't have time to go to school.
At least we should have some time. We should have some time, because we are parenting. So we have to go to school, we need to interact. If you have no time, at least give a call to the teacher and talk to the teacher through phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then on the Mr. Wafula, on the potential of the child or on the talent development of this child, remember you have to be there to see what is this child doing. Is he really fighting with maybe wires? What is she doing? All those things. Like remember, the parent has to be there, available in the life of this child. So how about those parents that have busy schedules? You have to report very early at work. You have to be there, you have to make it at time. So, and then you have to be in the presence, or you have to look after this child.
Of course, it comes to perception. It all comes to perception. We had this opportunity. It's not an opportunity, but when they went into the lockdown, the stories you would hear, instead of now we had the chance, we're not working, the kids are not going to school. So we had the opportunity to help the kids. Actually, we had the opportunity to help them develop and also discover, because we have been busy for the other years and months. So we had all that time, but still, what we would hear is fights. Actually, I think there was a report that showed that we had the highest rate of domestic violence within families, because they didn't have that time to mentor, to help the kids develop, and also bring up the child in an appropriate way that society would really love them to be there to have. So we should also just show the kids that it's not all about being given. Daddy, I need 10,000. I need to buy some toy. You give. You need to learn to make them know that money, or there are no gifts, no free gifts. You have to work to earn. So you can maybe give them a simple call, like maybe sweep this area. You'll be able to. Then that's when I'll be able to give you. So kids they are not daft. They understand, so they will know that I have to work in order to earn. You know, most of us are now, we parents are working day and night to work to make sure that the kids are okay.
Yeah.
And yet, life is not all about that. Because if you probably worked for an estate of 1 trillion shillings and you didn't develop the kid to how you got to the trillion, you pass on the estate to him and they'll blow it in a week. You know, people will wonder, how did you blow up all that? But because you didn't mentor them. So you need to move. If you're in your business, for example, I'm doing graphics, I have to show how I need to begin showing the kids how to do graphics, how I develop a concept, how I design, where do I put the design, and where does that design end? How does it reach a client? So by so doing, so the business people, the parents who are business people, they should once in a while, maybe weekends, take their kids and take them to the shops, let them see how things work out, other than just seeing money. You know, there's a time they asked the kids, some time back, I don't know whether you heard of it, that they asked the kid, where does milk come from? You know what the kid said? From the supermarket. So,
because that is what maybe she has grown up seeing.
So, and yet if such parents had taken the kids, like say we had that 2-year lockdown, or of course before the total lockdown, if they had taken these kids to the village or to the farms, very many parents now have farms. You take the kids and you'll see they will get involved into planting of the beans, harvesting of the beans, storing of the beans, packaging of the beans. By so doing, kids are learning. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so Beatrice, talk about the responsibilities. Remember, these children, now maybe you've taken them to kindergarten, they're going to start schooling, and they spend a lot of time at school. What are the responsibilities? Let's begin with teachers. What are their responsibilities in nurturing? Some teachers have really left their responsibility, like that is maybe the responsibility of parents. But is there also the role that teachers play in identifying the talent of this child?
Yes, they do. And this one starts with us, the parents. You're supposed to identify the school where you're taking your child. You need to interact with the school management and see how the environment of the school. Through interaction, you can know whether these people really help the talent of the child come out or not. For example, I took my last born to a baby class. So what I did, I went and told the administrator to write for me a bank slip. I just wanted to know, are these people tolerant? Are they loving? Then she wrote for me a bank slip and she's like, should I put the amount? I'm like, yes, put the amount. But what about the debt? Just put everything, put even the debt. So she put, but I was trying to monitor how these people react. Will they be able to look after my child? Do they care? Do they have empathy? Are they really interested in what they're doing? So the other administrator didn't know what she was like. I was trying to identify something in her, but as she was writing the bank slip, I was able to know that, okay, this is the school where I'm going to bring my child. If she had written a bank slip well facing the other side, or her lips are in the north, I wouldn't have paid the money and I wouldn't have taken my child to that school. So schools do help develop the talent or potential of the child, because most such schools are hiring experts who train them on how to behave towards children. They are not supposed to yell at children. A good teacher is not supposed to yell at a child. He's supposed to talk to the child, because these are human beings. Yeah. You see, even an animal, you're not supposed to yell at it. So why do you yell at a child? They're supposed also to play their part of showing the children to wash their hands. Yes, we do it from home, but when a child is at home, if it's time for meals, children are supposed to be taught to pray before they eat. They're supposed to wash their hands before they eat, and they're supposed to greet teachers. So we always drop these children, but when you reach, you see the child is greeting. You see the child is greeting the teachers at the gate and hugging the teachers. There's one day we went for visitation at school, and that toddler, that one of 3 years, we stopped somewhere because we found team members of the school somewhere. So we told him, if you tell us the names of these people, we are going to give them money. And to our surprise, he was able to tell us everyone's name and their role at school. So we realized that this school is very good and are going to help our children's potential be developed. So you as a parent, as you are nurturing your child from home, you also need to identify the kind of school where you're taking your child. You don't just take. You need to know how the administration behave, how the teachers behave, how they interact. You can do it through just a trick like I did, and somebody wrote a bank slip and put for me debt, put for me the amount, but I was trying to see, are these people really good? Do they really love their profession? Are they really going to care for the child? Are they really patient? Because you see, you cannot raise a child when you're not patient.
Yeah.
So as we monitor the teachers, you're also supposed to live by example. So when a teacher lives by example, these children learn from school. Yeah. So they also do it. And we as parents, we're also supposed to live by example. Because when we fight, the child will grow knowing fighting is normal. But when we don't fight, the child will know fighting is bad. When a child fights the other child, you tell the child, please don't fight, fighting is bad. The child will never fight, because he knows the parent has told them fighting is bad. And then let me talk about something that interested me of recent. I've been taking children, I've been shopping with them, but last time I was like, okay, I want this student to go and shop. Whenever we want to deposit their fees, we tell them to first count. Each one we give them fees. We tell them count and tell us the amount, confirm the amount.
At what age? All of them?
Of course, not this one of baby class, but we have one of P5, then we have P7 and senior 2. So each one is given their fees to count. Each one is told to write a list of requirements. They read the circular, write a list of requirements. They total the money, we give them the money. You go and shop. And then, of course, within within the shops around home. So each one goes and shop, you bring your items, we check on the list whether you bought all, and you have to account for what you have bought to see whether the money you've taken and the balance you've come with is matching the items you've brought. So that one is training these children to be responsible and to know how much money parents are spending on their items. So if a child takes, let me say, 300,000 just for shopping, this child is going to value money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just waking up in the morning and then give me the list.
No, they will value money. So both parents and teachers have a role to play in identifying and developing the talent of a child.
And then how about the community? Because I'm really so mad at the community. I remember that story of that young lady who was beating up her child, and then the community where she was living was seeing what was happening, and then all of a sudden when the media personalities came up and started inquiring about the story and what was happening and the news, and then the neighbors, they came up and said, yes, we are seeing it.
Yeah, we are losing responsibility. So actually, to add on that, we are supposed to engage our children in the day-to-day running in our day-to-day lives. For example, we should be able to differentiate between. They should know that there is time for studying, there is time for doing homework, there is time for doing house chores, there is time to do entertainment, and there is also time to relax. So if they make a timetable, I remember when we told them to make a timetable for the day, then for a week, then for a month. So as lockdown was rolling for us, we were studying. So by so doing, they're able to know that, oh, this is programmed. They're able to program themselves and know how to account for the 24 hours of a day. So that also shows them how to be responsible. Otherwise, if they can't program for their time, then you know that even if after they go pursuing their careers, there are these ones who will be coming. You know, I don't know whether they also come here late, but there are always kids employees who come in late, who take breaks, lunch, break time breaks, and also after lunch breaks. So it means those people are not planning for their time, their private time, the office time, and also their research time. So we should, I don't know, so there is the time for God. Because as a family talk show and Church of Uganda founded program, or TV, we should also introduce God at the early stage. We should know that God is in charge of our lives, of this world, of our society. So I'm lucky that my wife is more spiritual than I am, but so that is an advantage because she's crazy, but we are one, but she's more. That is where talent comes in. We can't be the same.
Yes.
So
that is also a talent. Is that also a talent?
No, it's a spiritual talent.
Hey.
Otherwise, I would also be able to speak in tongue.
No, you will also be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Beatrice, how do you support your child? Remember, there are different kind of children. There's this child who is an extrovert, who is going to open up to you. Is like, mommy, this is what is happening. This is what I want. And then there are these ones who are introverts. They will not tell you. They will be quiet. You will find them watching TV, and they will just go out and they will just go to bed. They will not tell you anything that transpired at school. Even when you ask them, they will be quiet. So how do you help that child who is really not active, or who is so down to earth?
Yeah, fortunately, I have not come across such a child, but just like we've said, God has given everyone a potential.
Yeah,
everyone has it. That's why when a child is as early as 2 years, two days, the child gets to know the sound of people around them. So whether it is an extrovert or is an introvert, bonding between the parents and the children matters a lot. So as a parent, you need to establish a relationship, a good relationship, because when this one is talkative, of course this one will come and talk without asking. But these introverts, they will keep quiet, but when you ask, because you have a good relationship with that child, the child has to open up. I've not heard of a situation whereby a mother or a father asks a child or a guardian and the child does not speak up. The children will always talk. And they all have special talent, by the way. If you just keenly check and look out for their talents, they are all having potential. We have a child who is maybe an introvert, but she's very good at doing household chores. And yet the other one, who is an extrovert, is very good at tidying up the house and like designing. So everyone has a potential. It is upon us, the parents, know how to talk to the children and ensuring that we have that relationship. So because there's that relationship and we let them explore themselves, we let them do their things that like the way God created them, they will all develop their unique talent, which is very relevant to the family or to the community where they are.
Wow, so you're going to give us your parting shots, Mr. Wafula, on helping our children reach their full potential, even in the community they are living in, even maybe the schools they are going to. Your parting shots.
Yeah, well, it could actually be another point, which is important.
Yeah.
We've not talked about the society, the sex, the drugs. These are in reality.
True,
so,
they're happening.
The path that we took is to actually talk about them, because at a particular level they are going to either go through them or see their peers doing what? Maybe taking drugs. So instead of letting them, denying them as in preventing them, because I remember when we were growing up, our parents could give us money to go for the shows. We went to Angenois Silk, so we grew up knowing that Angenois is like this. I remember for the sisters, Dad could show them that this is, if you sleep with men, they would show. We had neighbors who, okay, God forbid, they passed on, but neighbors who were sick. So they said, if you engage yourself in sex, unprotected sex, you're going to get STDs, even pregnancies. So we need to not shy away from these evils in society. We're having the nyege thing. They are associating it with the LGBT, the homosexualities and lesbianism. I don't know whether they practice it there, but if we don't share these things with them, trust me, they are going to discover them with the Google, with the YouTube.
Social media.
Trust me, they will discover them by themselves. So the earlier we did them, because when you package the message appropriately, it will be able to help the children. So parents, don't shy away from that. Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching Family Talk Show. It has been a blessing to have you this evening. So let's our beautiful Beatrice, tell us your parting shots. You can give us your parting shots on maybe parents that really do not care about their children. They're having busy schedules and they really don't want to know about their children. They're leaving them with caretakers, and even these caretakers, sometimes they don't want to know what maybe your children is going through, or maybe they are not experienced to know the potential of your child.
Actually, the busy parents who are leave their children in the caretakers, one, you need to treat the caretaker like a family member. And you need to instruct the caretaker on what you want to see in your children. I know she may not be perfect, but because you treat her like a family member, you have a good relationship with her, she's going to open up and tell you what might be happening in your absence. However busy we are, at least we have some public holidays and we have some weekends, we go to church with these children. We can spend time and talk to the children during weekends and whenever we are available. When children are growing, they go through different stages. So you also need to sit with your children and tell them about what happens during adolescence stage, so that these children know how to react to the changes that happen to their bodies. But if you have not established a good relationship with the caregiver and yourself with the children, they'll go through situations without you knowing, and they'll end up falling into trouble. Then you get know when it is late. So our parents should establish a relationship with all household members. The relationship should be good. Whether it's a caretaker, should be treated like like a family member, so that she can do her role while she's motivated. Thank you so much, viewer. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you so much for watching Family Talk Show. It has been a blessing to have you this evening. Yes, and what my take back home is giving every child a potential or a chance to reach their full potential is the best work anyone can do, or a parent can do. That is the only payment that you can give your child. Thank you for watching us on Church of Uganda Family TV with me, Brenda Mahoro. DJ Bantam has been in the transmission, and Jonah Jalo Wakabi abadde ku camera. Have yourself a beautiful weekend and a lovely night. I love you all.